Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Wellness in the Multiverse. As you can see, I hope so. It's kind of bright in here, but I hope you can see. There's Goku behind me, and there's a reason for that. So maybe you did not know, but I'm pretty sure that if you're here, if you watch what I do, listen to the podcast, and if you know who I am, you've heard me talk about him, and you know who Goku is. I think the world knows who Goku is. But I've talked about him in the past, and I've talked about him on different podcasts. The reason why I wanted to talk about him today is that as of last week, now Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and Goku and the world of wonders that it is, unfortunately passed away. And I didn't share the story because I'm pretty sure everyone knew about it. I don't know. Maybe I just also felt like it wasn't kind of real. I woke up in the morning. I think it was on Friday morning. I just woke up. I looked at my phone, and it's since my algorithm is kind of in that direction, it's the first thing I saw when I woke up in the morning. So kind of down about that was but weird thing, like what's going on, why, how, I don't know. Is it a prank? Who knows? But as the day goes, you see all of that, and as the weekend progressed, I started to see a lot of images of Goku and Vegeta and the world of like he created, and I've listened and I've watched these series, all of them, and movies too, because there's a bunch of movies too, and there's another one that's coming very quite soon actually, Dragon Ball Daima, if I'm not mistaken, who he has worked on. So it's going to be the last project, obviously. The reason why it's kind of important, it was important for me to talk about that, is that Goku had such a big impact on my fitness in my life, and I'll explain that in a bit more details. But when I was a kid, we moved from a lot of places. I don't live in the city I'm born in. I think I've done so far like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different cities. When I was a kid, we did 3. I did 3 others on my own. But when I was a kid, we went from a small town and then moved into a small-ish town, like somewhat bigger, but still a bit small. And then we moved to Quebec City, and every time you have to restart everything over again and all of that. And animes and comic books and Goku and all of that. He was the first one I've ever saw. And I remember it was my neighbor who kind of introduced me to the world of manga. My neighbor was much geekier than I am, or than I was, in a way. And he's the one who, he had all the Dragon Ball Z manga, and he was reading them and was like, what's going on? What's that? And he just like gave one to me and explained to me like it's on the reverse and you read that, differently. And it was in black and white, and it was great stories. I still have a lot of them at my parents', so I'll try to, get my hands on them. But yeah, and it was the first one, that introduced me to that. And in his first, it was the first kind of physical character that I've seen that had like high values, friendly, always nice, always laughing, always, bright, but still threatening in a way, strong, doesn't let anyone, step on his foot, always fights for the greater good, but also for the fact that he just loves it. He's a character who you can see that what he loves, he just goes after it. And that is one thing that's very great about it, is that we see a character that just loves fighting. At the beginning of everything, he just learns about that, fights a bit, in tournaments and everything. And then Vegeta comes to the world, and then he has to fight for the world often, and then the Frieza and all of that. But in all of this, there's those moments of like he wants to fight the bigger guy and the stronger guy just to prove himself and see if he can beat him, and he always gets beaten down. Anyway, it's Goku, right? The world that he built is massive. The impact that he's had is massive. And what it did to me is it got me into fitness some way, somehow. I was reading the manga, and then I got into, the anime show. I was watching him basically fight people and then train harder and then always progress and always, eat, sleep, train, progress, be better, always, and then he would just push people around him to also be better, which was a great thing to see, because he's not only trying to be the best, he's always trying to have everyone else being, their best version and their best selves, which I believe in a way it's something I'm trying to do in some way, shape, or form. Not trying to say that I'm Goku. Let's not freak out. Nonetheless, it's a character like that. He's uplifting. He gets to be a Super Saiyan before Vegeta, but then he just says like, well, you're next. You'll be the next one, right? I'll just help you. He's always a step ahead of everyone, because he always pushes himself. But he's always like helping people, behind him be better and stronger until, he surpasses them and it gets too crazy. Nonetheless, that's who he is. And that's those morals, and that's those, stories that I grew up with. He is one of the characters that brought me to, where I am, because I would start by doing push-up, and I would be like, how is he doing it? What's going on here? And then I would learn that, he added, gravity to his workouts, and was just like, okay, so if he adds gravity, what can I do that's similar? Well, maybe I can put, heavier boots on and just jump, and just do some just jumping, right? And then I would take the boots out, and I feel like I'm jumping higher. I was a kid, Nonetheless, it's progressive overload. I would jump, and then I would jump with heavier stuff, and it was like, I'm better. So I started bettering myself with that in mind. And that's not staged, but, he's my background, and he's been my phone background, or I can't turn on the computer right now because it's recording, but he's been my phone background and my computer background, and in most of my backgrounds for, I don't know, maybe the last 10, 15 years, maybe, because it's a reminder for me of an ideal. And I think that's what he created. It's an ideal. It's something to strive towards. It's something to do. And that's what I love about the character. That's what I liked about that universe. And that's what I hope we're going to get, still into all of those different anime that will come, and characters and comics, because those are the characters that I love. This is why Superman is one that I like, right? This is why Captain America is one I love too, because of those standards, because of those morals, because of what they represent, and the fact that they help other, try to do the same thing. So different type of episode, today. Not just throwing a bunch of values out there, just like a backstory on why, he was important to me, why Akira Toriyama was important as well. And I hope, if you guys don't know about the universe, check it out. It's awesome. It's just so great. If you do, check it out again. It holds up. I rewatched it recently, all of them, from like the older one to like the Dragon Ball Super, and I think I do that about every couple of years. I just go through it all over again, and I'll keep doing that in the future. So, very quick episode, very more of a personal one. One I wanted to do for me more than anything. Maybe it helps you, figure out who to look up to characters you like, things of that nature, things you want to read. For me, those are, these characters are my bigger why, my bigger motivation. I take out of those stories, they bring me into a different world, but they keep those, grounded values into it, and that's what I like about it. Apart from that, someone asked me over my DM, an old client of mine who listens to the podcast, so thanks, man, asked me, what can I read? I am lost into all of this. So I'm going to add at the end of these little podcasts something I read recently that you could put your hands on. Right now there's a series going. I think they might just be done now or very, soon actually. So it's Justice League versus Godzilla and Kong. That's a good one. So you can start there. It's a great story. It's just like Justice League fighting Godzilla and Kong. Awesome. Check it out. Superman Lost. I've said it on stories. That is a good one. It's a great one. I still need to read it all over again because of how it ends. The ending is like, if you've seen Interstellar, the movie, the ending is like, so I need to read it again to kind of grasp the ending. So that's a good one. They're also doing Zod right now, General Zod. So those are like floppies because they're not yet in paperback. They are too new for it. So if you want to catch them, please be my guest. If you want a paperback, a good stories I'm not done reading because I haven't, I didn't buy yet the second paperback. I have to do that. It's The Dark Knight of Steel. So basically it's Batman and Superman in medieval, times. And there's something different this time about the story of Batman, which is very awesome and interesting. So, and also in the backstory of Superman, there's a massive difference there as well. It's a great story, so go, have a read of that. So those are some that I that at the top of my head that just, came and they're nice. You can pick up any detective comic at basically almost any point, and you'll be somewhere in a story and they're just going to explain where they are and what they do and all of that. So this is like part 2 of act 1 of something, and it's number 1067. So if you find a comic book shop and you start Detective Comics at 1066, you'll be like day 1 into a different part, so you can start there as well. Is this it? No, that's 1062. And yeah, so those are the ones that I like. I like Detective Comics, but and Batman in general. And the reason why I don't talk too much about Batman now and the reading of all that is just because there's so many of them. They do so many Batman. I love Batman, but there's the Joker. There's so many Batman stories that I try to stick to Batman, Detective Comics, and I just go through them. I'll find some other, ideas for the next one and actually to read that. Wonder Woman. The new Wonder Woman of Tom King. Yeah, that one. So just Google it. Wonder Woman, Tom King. It just came out slightly before Christmas, I believe. There's like 6 or 8 issues, and I think they are like 4 or 6. I know, they're like 6 out. I'm trying to remember all this. I read a bunch of them. So yeah, but it's a great Wonder Woman story. So take your, get this, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks, guys. Hope you maybe didn't learn anything, but got entertained. Whatever. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to know more about how I can help you make fitness a sustainable lifestyle, you can reach out to me on any social media platform at Joe Gagne Trainer. Thanks again. Till next time.